We have with us the general, as I like to call him the general, Leonard, and he is going to be bringing Bible study to us tonight. I gave him the challenge to do so, and he told me, he said, I can guarantee the Holy Spirit will be there.
Me in the flesh, boy. The flesh was like, wow. Like this morning, like I had like the flesh in me had in mind because we went fishing yesterday, and I had no shirt on, and I'm all sunburned and everything. I'm like, man, I ain't coming back today. But that was nothing but the devil, you know. And I believe you was the only person that knew. Actually, I was, I wouldn't say conducting, but just more interacting with our Bible study tonight. So my mom and daddy don't know anything, whether they're coming or not. So
bless it. Maybe I should text him real quick.
They should be coming, but I don't know. But yeah, the Lord has placed up on my heart for Him to use me, not me coming like posting for Him or whatever. That about like some fasting, like fasting and praying, because this nation is in need for a little bit more of fasting and praying if we haven't been doing it yet. So, I'm sure we all have a little testimony. So a little bit of my background. I'm sure everybody knows that I'm Sister Penny's brother Brian's child, and been in the Marine Corps for about 6 years. You know, I've hit my all-time low maybe in the beginning of this year, 2017, of truly understanding who God was in my life. And I'm just so excited to even talk about it now. You know, and I could say I've been through a lot these past 6 years of leaving my mother and father's house and just experiencing the world. Because I believed in God before I left, but not to the point where I'm at right now. Just starting off with the levels to walking down that correct path, that narrow path for righteousness. And you know, just to say if I die tonight, you know, I believe, I know I'm going to make it. Let me just say it like that. You know, I'm excited to express and communicate with everyone in here about the journeys we plan on going, and just let the Lord use us until, you know, we reach glories. So, anybody else want to just have a little testimony to say or so? So I can keep going a little bit. You know, July 10th, this is when my life really changed. July 10th, 2017 was when I lost 8 Marines due to a plane crash right here in Mississippi. July 8th. It was 16 total, but I knew 8 of them personally.
Wow.
And I was just struck for that past week of like, whoa, that could have been me, because I wanted to be air crew and everything. And, you know, the Lord just took me. And one of the guys, I had just talked to him the day before, and he was somewhat of my mentor. But you know, I'm like, okay, Gunshine, whatever. And I'm like, and he was God-fearing and everything. And you know, I'm like, how the Lord is just gonna take somebody like that, and he just had a child in March. Another child, his 3rd child. I'm like, how the Lord just gonna take him like that? And that's me in my selfish ways, like, Lord, why would you do this to him and 7 others I already know? And you know, so I was going through this community worship team, and that following week, the pastor was like, Leonard, why do you like this? Why are you down? You know, you still got another day, you got another breath thing. You know, you got a testimony. I'm like, I ain't got no testimony, whatever. You know, so we singing and everything, and then next thing I know, I'm like just just out of it. I just want the Lord in my life because, I don't understand what's going on. And then, prophecies in the Bible and Revelations, it's all what's happening to us right now, these past couple months as well. And, I just thank God that He's using me to just give encouraging words. And not encouraging words as in, hey, are we going to heaven or are we going to hell? Simple as that. Ain't no sugarcoating anymore, because I was sugarcoating it when I was in the world, backsliding and doing desires that the Lord really didn't want in my life. I'm sure if any of you guys ever personally knew me, I've had homosexual desires. I had a little drug problem as well these past 6 years, and I know for a fact the Lord, as long as I kept my mind focused, I don't have those lustful desires for anything right now. No more smoking, no more drinking. I'm just letting the Lord use it. And it's just so amazing that, I'm not gonna say, I have homosexual desires and all that, because that's my past, and I'm so excited about just saying a little bit of my testimony to just show, hey, I was way back here, but look where the Lord used me at right now. He's walking with me right now. He's not just putting me on a pedestal and be like, oh, this is my poster boy, whatever. No, He's just walking with me, and He's using me to get the word out. So He was just using me. And then I learned about this thing called fasting. And this happened about a month ago. Fasting, and this is where I started using my testimony, because I never knew I had a testimony until the Lord delivered me from all these struggles. We still having struggles now, but I'm still having struggles now, but I can relate to them better, and just hey, let the Lord use what's that? First Thessalonians 4, what I said, continue, stay focused always, continually praying and praising. So that's where we are right now. Again.
Have you ran into many? You're the Marines now, right?
Right. Yes, sir.
Have you ran into many that you would say are Christians? Because I stood in the Air Force 21 years, and the people that I ran into that I thought I could say were Christians, I think I could only point my finger for about 2. There was a TI once, and there was another guy that people stood away from. So I think being a Christian in the military is gonna take courage. It's gonna take a lot of courage.
Like I said, these past 2 months has been a real transition in my life, and like I say, my desires, they're of the past, and I'm excited to just throw in a testimony about, hey, look what I used to do, look what I used to smoke, what I used to drink, what I used to desire about. And I pretty much had it all, but we still have consequences once we have it. The Lord ain't just gonna get delivered from it all, and you still got finances, but you still don't worry about it. Just stay focused, pray up, and everything like that. But I believe I might have another Christian within my squadron right now.
How would you recognize him?
By his walk and by his little encouraging words of the day as well. But even though we're in a work environment, it's not like before I left from home, I'm just blasting whatever, I'm gonna take the consequences later, but I'm gonna fight for my Lord. Simple as that. Even though it's in a professional environment, but if you're just talking You can talk about my mom, my daddy, but if you talk about my Lord, come on, let's go to war with this. Let me show you in Scripture. Hey, this is what it is. Yes, sir.
The guy I'm thinking about, who was a training instructor, was one of them. And you know how you go in when how they act mean to you, how and act and all that jazz. He would do that, but on the side he would walk up to you and say encouraging words to you. And he would kind of let you know that he was a Christian, kind of on the slide, like, just away from the rest.
So when I look at that, it's just all a mind game. Just a mind game there. And so I just found this. So I just found this seriously, like maybe about an hour and a half ago, about the fasting part within the Bible. That I seriously, because like right now, I'm about ready. Hell, I am ready to start reading the Bible from front to finish, to understand more. But it's still picking, and I'm still new to it. And I'm like, man, I don't have enough time in the day. But that's just me saying that, the flesh in me. But you know, that's when it brings in the fasting, the sacrificing, because fasting is not just eating. You know, fasting is pretty much like getting away from certain distractions for you to be focused on the Lord. You know, so if we could turn to Matthew 6:16 through 18. And it's amazing how I just found out about Matthew 6, because I was like, Lord, what up? What you lay on my heart for me to?
That's what the Lord prays.
I'm like, Lord, okay, I hear you saying something about fasting, but okay, let's go with it, Lord. Matthew 6:16 through 17. And it reads, this is Jesus speaking here about fasting. When you fast, do not look somber as hypocrites do, for they disfigure their faces to show others that they are fasting. Truly I tell you, they are receiving their reward in full. But when you fast, put oil on your head and wash your face, so that it will not be obvious to others that you are fasting, but only your Father who is unseen, and your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. And I remember my pastor, well, let me say like, well, I got a bunch of pastors now. Let me say, that's why like, a pastor in Virginia, he like, oh, when you fast, make sure nobody knows you fast. I'm like, why does he keep saying that? Why does he keep saying that? I'm like, okay, but I'll try to make sure of that. And then, like I said, this hit me up today. I'm like, whoa, this whatever he's been saying. I'm like, okay, where you? He's like acting like, yeah, it's in the Bible somewhere. I'm like, oh, so I gotta go look for it. So, and the Lord at least had placed it upon my heart about fasting. This is where a nation needs to be at, fasting and continue to walk down the road with the road to righteousness, period. So for a little thing about fasting, just to actually come into context, it would be like, for the worldly side, it would be us going to the gym would be, no, excuse me. Fasting and praying goes together. So fasting would, praying would be we have a gym membership. So we all have a gym membership, so we could call upon the Lord in prayer anytime, all the time, all the day. You know, from the fasting part is when we actually go inside the gym and working out. And so I look at that as, wow, how can I, so just say we just fast once a month, you know, are we really working out our relationship with the Lord compared to just praying? Because praying is pretty much we're asking God for this, we're asking God for that. Fasting, we're actually in the relationship with our Lord. You know, we're giving up whatever we're fasting about, and you know, we're sacrificing, and we're the worldly need, our worldly needs compared to our spiritual needs. Yes, sir.
Let me tweak your analogy a little bit. Prayer would be having a active gym membership. You have the relationship with God, so that's the membership. You're conversating or communicating with God, that's you working out. But the fasting is when you have a gym membership, an active gym membership, but you have a personal trainer.
The fasting?
The fasting.
Okay.
Because what a personal trainer does is a personal trainer helps you to become disciplined and focused to develop in certain specific areas. So then you have a relationship with God. That's first of all, that makes you a Christian, to have a relationship with God. That's your basic, you can get into the gym because you have a membership. It's active because prayer is an active, an ongoing, participatory practice. Your communications with God. But when it comes down to fasting then requires you to focus in on and become disciplined in attacking and addressing certain areas that you are trying to develop or get rid of. And so a personal trainer is what you require, because here is a person who knows how to attain the results that you're trying to get.
So that would be us.
And so you have to follow the regiment. You have to follow what it is that he directs you to do, or she directs you to do as your personal trainer, if you're going to get the results. So when it comes down to fasting is about developing spiritual discipline and focus. You won't be able to, in the physical, you won't be able to maximize your workout unless you have somebody who knows how to do that and who can establish for you a regimen, a practice, a ritual, what you have to do in order to address these target areas. So what fasting does is, fasting then requires you to become disciplined and focused in order to attain a certain development. If you might allow me to tweak it, I can on that level.
So you're saying with the personal trainer, I'm just making sure I'm understanding as fully as well. So with the personal trainer would be us like giving away like an actual fasting for it. Like.
It's symbolically speaking, fasting spiritually in the physical, when it comes down to the metaphor, the analogy that you're giving, it's more like a person having a personal trainer. Jesus said, when they asked him one time at the bottom of the mount, why couldn't we cast this demon out of this boy who was throwing himself into the fire? Why couldn't we do that? Jesus rebuked them by saying, "O ye of little faith." And then he tells them something key and important. He says, some things only come as a result of fasting and praying. So in the gym, if I take it back to the gym membership that you used earlier, some things are not going to happen spiritually for you unless you have a certain discipline and focus. That comes with fasting. Brian, I'm sorry.
Let's just look at it for what it is, fasting and praying. Fasting, okay, praying, fasting, I mean, you fasted for some, you have a good relationship with the Lord, and you go into a fast for X amount of days or whatever. Could it possibly also be that you communicate with the Lord of how serious a matter this is, or how important it is, as far as whatever you're fasting for to the Lord?
Let's hold that. You're right. I want to expand on it. I want to stay with the analogy that you use.
That's sort of like when Queen Esther went into that fast.
Yes, because she was readying herself
for
what it is she needed to do. So, but let me.
She was calling on the Lord, but she was also showing the seriousness of everything, and showing God to His people.
When you are working out for certain results, when you are working out for certain results, the people who go out and get personal trainers are serious. You ain't gonna invest money into a personal trainer. I mean, if you ask me, if I'm going to the gym and I say, well, I'm just going to the gym because I want to work out, I want to lose some weight, well, I can do that on my own, really, if I just go. But now, if I say I want to develop my calves or my biceps, or if I specifically am trying to get a six-pack because all of these years I've been working with a keg. Anyway, if I'm going to do that, I am not qualified on my own to maximize my results. I'm not qualified on my own. But a personal trainer can do it because they know what you need to do, how many reps you need to do, what kind of diet you need to have. A personal trainer would be, a qualified personal trainer will be able to tell you what you need to do to get the results you want to get in a minimal amount of time. And therefore you won't waste so much energy and effort on stuff that's not going to bring you that result. So when you fast spiritually, what a spiritual fast does is it says, Lord, I'm willing to make an additional sacrifice. Praying, my time is a sacrifice. Communicating is a sacrifice. Opening myself is a sacrifice. But I want better results. I want specific results. So if I want that, I am going to I'm going to go the extra mile of the way by fasting, because you told me in your word certain things only come through prayer and fasting. And so therefore, I'm going to add to my personal workout a personal trainer. My personal workout is prayer. My personal trainer is fasting. And the fasting is a sacrifice because it's going to require me, one, to do that which I normally would not do. Whether it be I'm not going to eat for 24 hours, 48 hours, whether it be I'm going to stop watching television, that's going to be the fast. That's what I'm going to offer up. I'm going to sacrifice. And instead of spending my time and focus on that area, I'm going to try to become disciplined enough to give you that time, to give you that thought, so that you can bless me with these spiritual results that I'm trying to acquire. Dylan, you're looking pensive.
That was good. Great.
I loved it too. it ain't come from me. So then let me pause, because this is a very great subject for the church and for church collectively and independently or individually.
It's a great discussion here just about fasting, period.
Let me throw it back to our facilitator tonight and ask the question: why fast? If things seem to be going pretty good.
Like you say, like the personal trainer part, we shall fast because if we start to lose sight, I wouldn't say that, but it's like we're trying to gain the calves, so let's just keep the calves going on. Let's keep those muscles going.
The maintenance, you mean?
Exactly. Excuse me?
Wouldn't that be practice makes perfect?
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah. The more you do it, the better you get.
It's not to get better.
If you
Right.
want to fast,
To
you
be,
learn how to do it.
to be better.
It seems like when you fasting, it seems like you're closer to God.
Yeah.
You know, the hunger, you're closer to the Lord when you fast. When you break off your fast, well,
What is it about?
everyday thing.
What is it about fasting that makes you feel closer to God? And is it just a feeling, or is it a fact?
It's more focused. Like,
Yeah.
this is the path I'm gonna take. So I'm gonna be focused more. Okay, God, I'm looking for a word. So I'm in your word. I'm studying. I'm also talking to you while I'm studying, so that I can gain understanding, so that I can focus each and every time that I fast, so that I can become one with you. So it's no longer me. It's you that is in me.
Okay, can I do that? Can I do that to prayer? I mean, can I get? Yeah, I mean, really, I mean, why can't I do that to?
When you fast and you push all these other things aside. And you-
How does that differ from? Because I'm trying to keep it real for those who may not have ever really, and I don't think any of us have completely felt and understood and realized the power of fasting. I'm gonna tell you that I have not. So in my mind, I'm trying to understand, how does fasting differ in your closeness than prayer? In your closeness to God, how does it differ? What's the differing factor or factors? What makes it different?
You want to say something? Okay. You want to say something?
Nothing personal with you and God.
Is prayer not personal?
It is, but this is more intense prayer.
It's not.
Is fasting prayer?
You're hitting another level.
It's fasting is a part of it. Prayer is a part of
The
that.
fasting to me is like my actual relationship with the Lord. And then once like 12:01 hit, that's when the whole world just started hitting me back. I gotta make sure I'm staying prayed up and continue staying prayed before I like go off on somebody or so. Like
Prayer and fasting can't be the same thing.
No, it's not.
And the reason why it can't be the same thing, because Jesus he said some things only come out through prayer and, so that sounds like an additional, and fasting. They can't be the same thing. It has to be two different things. So what is,
Fasting has to be more spiritual than just the prayer itself.
what you mean more
More
spiritual?
spiritual, you like I said, you're putting all these other things aside. You done gave up food, or I drink water, but you done gave up the food. Days will go by, and you haven't eaten, and you still praying. And you might be going through your everyday routine and whatever too, but the quiet times that you have to pray and reading your scripture and whatever it is that you're fasting for, it's more you're reaching out to be closer to God and whatever requests that you put forward. You know that you just can't just getting on your knees, oh God, please, blah, 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 and then you get up and go about your everyday
And that's pretty much how I look how praying is, blah blah blah, a little bit like that. I'm being dead honest.
You know?
Because
But
Seriously.
fasting fasting, I mean, you ain't ate in a few days, you know, and you
Okay, so that's gonna make my blah blah blah. I'm gonna be even more distracted. I'm talking from the carnal mind, y'all. I'm gonna be even more distracted because, Gail, if I'm sitting up there praying, then fasting, and my wife is cooking, I'm distracted.
No,
Exactly. That is the difference. That's why you don't.
I mean, or even if nobody is cooking, if my stomach is doing more praying than me. I'm just more blah 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 than me. Come on.
So, okay, and this might be like a crazy question, but is fasting just with food, or can you fast by like not smoking cigarettes? Because I don't know anything about fasting, so
That's a great question, actually.
Okay, so fasting is not just food. It's anything that takes off the focus of the Lord.
Takes off the focus.
Yeah, just
Well, I said focus.
Yeah.
I'm talking.
take your focus off the
Take
time.
your focus off the Lord.
No.
Put your focus on the Lord.
That's boy like it. I knew he was gonna get there. Don't listen to that. Oh, then went in the gallery. They not another. See.
So what he's trying to say is that when you're fasting, your mind is not on work. Your mind is on God.
okay. Yeah.
Spiritual.
I think fasting means that you are sincere in your thinking, in your belief, in your prayer, in your relationship with God. I think it do bring you closer to God.
David.
I think everybody hit around some pretty good points, but I think we all missing that what fasting really kind of does, it brings about an intimacy, a closeness with God, so that it become more intimate. Your relationship is not, intimacy is not just, it's not a prayer. That's you don't even pray when you become intimate with God. It's more you seeking Him,
Right.
and getting to know parts that about Him that you never even thought about. Is the depthness of it. Is really just becoming in tune with what His Word says, lining your spiritual timing gear, your spiritual heart, lining it back, getting it back to His Word. And once you line up, that's why you feel so close to Him, because you're intimate with Him. It's a closeness, and that's why you always feel more closer to Him.
How does God, and I know we're not God, I get that. How does God see fasting? Because Jesus is saying that the power of God, the presence of God, will honor.
There you go. You got the word, you said it yourself.
It will honor fasting and prayer with additional authority and power, basically. And I want to know if that's so, and I believe it's so, then God must be looking at fasting with favor. So why does fasting equal favor with God?
You're giving up your worldly.
Why does fasting equal favor?
You're giving up.
Because you're sacrificing yourself.
Is the key word here self?
You're sacrificing to Him. You're sacrificing
Your worldly wants, your fleshly want. Is that a word? Fleshly want?
Sacrifice like
Well, but let's
That's
say,
good too. Yeah,
hey,
be worthy.
don't they have a scripture that says that if I abide in you abide in me, so you let the Lord abide in you.
By not eating?
But it's not about not eating.
I mean, if I choose that,
If you
if
choose to not eat,
okay, well let me back up and ask this question then. Let me watch this. Here's a very interesting question, brother facilitator. Light coming on. Here's a very interesting question. who chooses the means of the fast? The means. In other words, who chooses what fast I am going to offer? Who should choose that?
That's when you pray on it.
You should ask God.
The person that actually doing it.
When you pray on it and then you start fasting.
Yeah.
It's
Gotta
your-
be
it's
so
like,
Oh,
specific.
what do I need to give up?
When you fast, not that we all fast, but I'm just saying, when you do fast, those who have fasted before, who chose the means of the fasting? Who chose what to give up? Who did the choosing? Was it
Person
God
that fasted.
or the person that was fasting?
Yeah.
You already know what your
Pretty
distraction
much,
is.
unless you can show me something.
But I don't always choose my distraction as a fast. I don't personally always choose that, my distraction, because I may choose to not eat. And eating may not necessarily be a distraction.
After a few days, it could be.
Well, for me, a couple of hours. But anyway, I'm just saying, really, think about what I'm saying. Who chooses? Does God say to you, I want you to fast X amount of time by offering this?
No.
Or do you select what you're going to?
You select.
You bring that up. In the Bible, I don't see anywhere where somebody fasted because of TV or fasted because of some.
Well, the TV wasn't coming yet.
But
So.
every fast in the Bible was always not eating.
Right.
I'm taking it that it was not eating and possibly with Jesus, he didn't drink water and eating. So is fasting only So I have yet to
Food, not eating?
fasting, well, I'm not going to go down. Whatever.
In the Bible days, I mean, they always had a lot of feasting going on. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's why they chose to fast. Fast from food, because there's always a feast. The king was throwing a feast. This person was throwing a feast. We're getting together, we're going to bake bread, we're going to eat the bread. So, my thinking is, well, that's what they always doing. Let's just take this away. Or we're always eating meat. Let's just eat the fish, something that's clean.
okay?
Because when you're fasting, you're purifying yourself. You're purifying your spirit.
So when you talk purify, you're not talking about the body,
It's also cleansing the body too.
possibly.
Physically.
To me, fasting is crucifying the flesh.
But you do that daily.
All the worldly things that go on.
Oh, she makes a good point. Shouldn't you do that daily? All day? Shouldn't you be crucified all day?
We can try.
Okay, so how can it be the same thing as fasting?
I mean, fasting all day.
Okay, listen to me. Fasting is, I'm going to give you a core or a root, a base definition of what fasting is about. It's too simple, but I'm giving it to you for a reason. Fasting is about spiritual discipline. Spiritual discipline. What is a discipline?
That's when you know right from wrong. Well, not
Controlling the right one.
Focus.
Focus.
Key word is focus. If you go in there, they ask you what your major is. You're going into college, they ask you what your major is. What are they asking you?
What's your concentration?
What's your area or your field of concentration? And why would you have a major as opposed to just going to college?
So that you can stay on the right path.
Because the major is what has been identified and chosen by you as the course that you want to travel to get to where you want to be. And so a major, and sometimes they would call it, what's your discipline? What is your area that you're trying to focus in on? Let me go back to the personal trainer. Personal trainer says, you said, hey, I would like for you to be my personal trainer. Personal trainer says, wonderful, great, I agree to do so. What are the areas that you are targeting? What are you trying to do? You say, oh, well, I just want to, I'm trying to get muscle. You know, say, you just want muscle, that's it. Say, yeah, well, I tell you what, you don't need a personal trainer if you just want muscle. Why? Where do you want the muscle to be concentrated? What area is your weak area? Oh, well, you see the old fat belly I got? I want it to go away. Okay, personal training then. Now that gives me an understanding as to what we need to begin to work on in order to get that area addressed. Spiritually speaking, fasting is like that personal trainer that helps you to maximize your efforts to attain a certain development. So let's say, for example, Lord, I want to know more about my purpose. So God says, great, wonderful, because I want you to know more about your purpose. But now, if Penny comes up to me and says, I want to be more educated, I said, great, wonderful, that's a great thing. And then I said, what are you going to do about it? She says, well, I don't know, but I want it. See, because there's a difference between desire and determination. A lot of us have desire, but really don't have determination, because real determination is ready for real sacrifice. And that's where a lot of us lose out in the commitment area, because we are not really willing. We have that desire, but we don't have a commitment, and we're not really ready for the sacrifice. Certain things only come by sacrifice. So then, if you want to get more education, I would say, Penny, well, Penny, you have to go back to school. Well, Penny look at me and she said, well, I really don't have, if you say you hate school, so I'm going to say to you, well, you know, I don't know if you're going to attain your goal. Unless you're talking about some street education. You can get street education rather in a heartbeat. But if you want a certain level, let's say I want to know more about my purpose, so I'm going to fast because I want God, I want to be sincere, because God already knows your heart. I want to show myself sincere and committed to this pursuit. I am pursuing knowing more about my purpose. And so to show my commitment and my sincerity in this pursuit, I'm willing to give up on this so that my focus can be made sharper on this. Maybe it's not I want to find more about my purpose. Maybe it's I want to I just feel like I'm too carnal. And this is a powerful reason to fast. I feel too carnal. I know I'm saved. I have a relationship with God. But I feel too carnal because I'm too easily distracted. And I keep dabbling in this and that. And I'm not consistent in my pursuit of my relationship and closeness with God. I'm too carnal, and I want some of this carnality to be taken out of my life. I want to stop leaning on my own understanding. I want to stop indulging in the flesh. And so in order to do that, I'm going to cut the television off, and I'm going to give that up, and then use the time that I would have been focused on that while I'm fasting off television, I'm going to use that time, that energy, and that focus, and I'm going to place it on becoming more holy. So watch. All of this going on is in while you are in communication, because remember the text says prayer and fasting, so you're still communicating with God the whole time and listening to God. You're not just talking to God, but you're also listening to God, hopefully more listening than you're talking. So while you are praying, you are also offering up the sacrifice as you are pursuing a specialist in this area. This is the power of prayer and fasting. So what are the distractions then? Hold on, let me go back to my question I asked. How does God see fasting?
Okay, so that's how I look at it. I also look at fasting, well, maybe I try to look at it in the Lord's eyes, like, because, you know, he's jealous. So when we stop fasting, that's when temptation comes in as well, like heavier temptation. Because I remember I fasted a couple of weeks ago, when 12:01 hit. I'm like, okay, Lord. And then there was this homeless young lady. She had hit me up and everything like that. And then...
Hold on, a homeless lady wanted to hook up? No, I'm sorry. I gotta get back focused. That would have sounded like to me. I just said. Go ahead.
She had needed some help, so I helped her. But I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, I really can't do this because, you know, I'm at work and everything in my mind. But I still remember the Marine Corps motto, that's God Country Corps. So I went inside there with my boss and like, hey sir, this young lady, she needs some help, so I gotta go. Like, what you mean? You got? I'm like, sir, I remember our motto was God Country Corps, so I told him, hey, I gotta go since we're serving the Lord like that. So it kind of struck him, but I felt that I know I was fasting for her. Come to find out.
Okay. Wait, what you said? You just hold on. Now you done thrown another thing. You was fasting for the homeless lady.
Okay, I didn't know she was about to call me or anything because I ain't heard from her in about a month and a half. But because I was fasting because I wanted God to use me more. And as soon as I completed my fast, she had hit me up. So I'm like, wow, you know, the Lord want me to use her. So I have to go inside. I have to go inside my boss's office and be like, hey sir, I gotta go like this. I'm like, why you gotta go? I'm like, this young lady needs help. Like, you're where we at work and everything. I'm like, yeah, but our motto was God Country Corps, and I hit him like that, and I just, hey, whatever consequences I had afterwards, you know, I took it. You know, but come to find out there was no consequences. He understood where I was coming from. You know, and
David antenna went up, and I think he read the pounce on that, David.
Hey, listen, that's real good.
It is.
Reading Daniel, the same thing. Daniel was in the middle of a fast, and as soon as he come out of a fast, a decree went out in Babylon. That's what I was reading just now. And when the decree went out, it was for all the wise men and all the magicians to be killed. Because Nebuchadnezzar had got upset. He had a dream. He wanted the dream interpreted. The wise men told him that nobody in Babylon was going to be able to tell you what these dreams was about because they came from the gods, and nobody in the flesh that was walking understood what was going on. So the decree went out to have all the men killed. Daniel spoke to the council and told the council, well, look, take me to the king and tell him, give me a few more days and let me talk to God. Basically, let me talk to God and I'm going to tell him what the dream is. And just like what he asked for, God gave it to him and he was able to interpret the dream.
Are y'all suggesting to me that when you fast,
Daniel required something.
you don't actually know. Let's say if I'm fasting for a particular purpose, but I really don't know how that purpose is going to be used by God.
That's good.
When I begin to fast.
Because you want that relationship with him. Because if you, like you say, you're gonna really fast or whatever like that. Hey, you most likely you have a relationship with the Lord, but I'm still new in this, and I'm learning fasting is where fasting and praying is where I need to be, you know. And I'm just throwing it on His people, like, hey, fasting actually works, because look, I've been living through all this, and I'm still on fire for the Lord, you know.
Okay, let me just briefly correct. I didn't say that I don't fast. I don't fast like I should.
Oh, my apologies.
Because I feel like I honestly believe in my spirit. I don't think the Bible says everything, because it couldn't. Obviously, the book would be too large for the world. But I believe that Jesus fasted perhaps more than it is even indicated in Scripture. Because when you have that kind of relationship with God on the level that he had, which is oneness, then distractions are not permitted. Boy, I need you to hear that again. When you have that oneness with God on the level that Jesus had, then distractions are not permitted. Because what distractions do is distractions take you off of the main attraction. And so you sin, we sin when we get off the main attraction. Fasting keeps a oneness. It keeps a oneness. It keeps that glue tight, waterproof, temptation proof. I mean, temptations will always be here, but failing or falling to the temptation is what fasting and praying solidifies. It keeps you from falling to the temptation if you fast and pray and apply the word.
I kind of want to, if you remember in Scripture when Jesus was getting ready to come into the ministry, he didn't know that he was seasoned at that particular time. But when he came, as soon as he came out of the fast, the devil knew that's when he was vulnerable. Mm-hmm. Just because you're vulnerable and you can be tempted, don't mean you have to fall to the temptation. But at that time, Jesus didn't know. I guess he kind of had an idea that his season was now. It was now the time. So he went on to the mountains to pray, and he fasted, and he had been, what, 40 days without eating. He had been 40 days. So what I'm really trying to say is that in your fast, sometimes you might be fasting for a specific reason. You might be fasting for closeness or more intimacy with God. But just that level of faith, just you stepping out on that level of faith, is going to open up so many doors. It'll change so many situations in your life that you wouldn't even fasting for. But God will see your faithfulness, and certain situations, he'll work that situation out in the midst of you being a vessel.
Yeah.
You being a vessel and allowing him to become intimate with you.
So you saying spiritually fasting opens me up in my relationship and closeness with God to even more than what I may have or asked or thought would.
He just said it. When he began to fast, he didn't know he was fasting for that woman. You understand? He didn't know he was. Sometimes you got to do that for your family. Sometimes you could be fasting for your own selfish, well, not even selfish reason, but own personal gain, and you don't even know what you're doing will affect your whole family.
Okay, but let me tell you something that scares me about something that Dylan said. And it could spook me. Dylan said to me, David echoed it, that after the fast, then the devil hits you hard.
He really did. Like,
okay, well then, wouldn't that be better to not fast?
Oh, no, that's being lazy.
I'm done.
He did it to Jesus. Look how he hit Jesus on that mountain. Talking about jump down.
scared. I'm scared because the Bible said Jesus was weak.
His flesh.
He was hungry.
Yeah, but he was the next
And the devil came at him hard. Oh, he didn't fail. His name was Jesus. But what about me? What about me? I've come off a fast, and now the devil gonna slam me even more.
But that's what you
I'm having a hard time, Gail, right now.
You're gonna have a
That's what you want.
Come on, Amber.
But he didn't say it was gonna be easy.
I would think once you
Well, I'm not trying to make it harder. I'm not trying to make it harder, though, Penny.
But the thing is, when you get into heaven, if you ain't got that relationship.
Yeah, I'm saying fasting. Hold on, fasting. Fasting does not mean if I don't fast, that doesn't mean I'm not saved.
I think coming off that fast, although the enemy come at you, you recognize.
Okay, let me go ahead and answer that. I know I popped out a question, but I know the answer. When you come out of a fast, the devil gonna slam you. But when you come out of a fast, you ought to be strong.
Yeah, you shouldn't come out with us.
That's the only reason he gonna hit you.
So you ain't got to be scared. You ought to be stronger because you're more focused.
That's what
Listen.
you want. That's when you want to get hit.
Hold on, watch this here. I done hired my personal trainer. I told him I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to lose 20 pounds of me. So he comes in and he helps me. I lose 20 pounds. As a matter of fact, this trainer's so good, I lose 25. Boy, I'm lean. I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I'm saying, dang, I'm looking good. All right? Here come David drop by the house with a box of donuts. Now, see, now watch me. Because I'm giving you, this is a good point that's feeding into my own spirit right now. The point about this is this. The reason why people fail after fasting is because they fail to give God continually the glory. Let me bring it back to this. When I look in the mirror, I see I've lost the weight. Instead of that encouraging me, instead of knowing that I just come out this great sacrifice, I did all of this commitment and determination, and I've met my goal, now I'm where I want to be. Instead of saying, okay, and using that moment to say, all right, now you know what I want to do? I want to, watch this, maintain this level, and if there is a change, I want it to be for the better. Instead of doing that, then I lean on my own understanding and say, I can eat that donut because I lost 25 pounds.
But look what Daniel did. Right after they come out of that, Daniel, the Bible records after he became victorious, I guess, in that situation with the king, he continued. The Bible said he continued to go ahead and give God praise. He just started praising right after he come out of, I guess, the trial, out of the temptation. He kept on praying, and kept on, his praise. Pray, fast, and praise. I guess we go right after the fasting part. After he fasted, after he prayed, he fasted, then he praised. And that's where
Listen to this.
Progress
Progress made.
While you're fasting, you can't help but somewhere along the line.
Praise.
Pray. You all feel yourself.
But I want you to make this as a note. Progress made. Progress made, whether it be physical, spiritual, financial, or whatever. Progress made should never be a justification for either laziness or digression, which means going back. Let me explain what I'm telling you. If you have made progress and lost the weight, that's not a justification for you to go back and gain the weight.
But you can eat an extra donut for celebration.
No! Now you're saying, I'm telling you, you can't do that.
You say, It says,
That's what
that's
I'm.
like saying you're giving up,
You put it back
you're
on.
gonna be celibate for a month. Then right after the month over, you go shack up for a whole week.
Wait. What if
Oh, let me.
That's what that says.
Hold on. Watch this here. Watch this here. Watch this
A
here.
whole week, lock yourself in the room.
Watch this here. There is a text in the Bible that warns about this, and basically the text says this: if God clears you of the demons, somebody know how about it. If God clears you of the demons, but you go back into sin, then 70 more gonna come in.
Amen. Yes, indeed. Yes, you're right. Amen.
I gotta keep that focus.
Real, boy.
That's so work me. Now anybody who ever listen, the hazards, and I'm bringing back the hazards of losing weight quickly is that you gaining back and more
Yeah, that's true.
quickly.
You correct getting back triple.
So that you are worse off
When you start
than when you start. Now that's messed up. Now I done lost 25 pounds.
game 50.
Gang.
And then a month later, I done gained 30. And I said, well, what happened? Well, you tell me what happened.
I can eat that.
You was taking the matter pics and you ran off. You ran off.
I'm just saying, you fasting ought to bring you to a level, and you ought to love being on that level with the Lord so much, to whereas you refuse to go backwards. You ought to get to the point to whereas, you know what, hitting a left-hand cigarette.
I quit smoking.
Hitting a left-hand cigarette was. I used to love to do that after work to chill out. But then I got in my relationship with God. I knew that wasn't going to sit well, and so therefore I went to fasting and praying. God took that out of my life, and you ought to enjoy being able to come up to your house. And when somebody say, hey, I got some of that good stuff, you ought to enjoy being able to say, I don't do that no more. You ought to enjoy that so much to whereas you don't get back into it, because if you do go back to it, it's the devil to pay. You eating a lot of that dietary candy over there.
He's on a fast.
Yeah, he eating it fast.
He don't fast.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit, and I appreciate once again the subject matter, but let's talk about what happens when you fast. The text that the facilitator Dylan brought has something to deal with Jesus instructing the people about fasting. He said that when you fast, don't do like the hypocrites do, who contort or bend and twist their face to advertise that they are fasting.
Right.
Because they are fasting not for the purpose of spiritual discipline, but they are fasting to impress people.
Exactly.
And so Jesus said don't do that, because God has no value in that kind of fasting. You have your reward. The reward that you are seeking in doing that is the applause of man. And so if you're trying to get the applause of man, or people to say, oh, he must be really close with the Lord, that's your reward. But if you want a reward from God from fasting, then keep it between you and God.
I would think also in that type of fast where you want other people to see, you may get a vision that you didn't want to have.
That boy said you may invite something inside you that you wasn't bargaining for. But so if I'm going to fast, do I need to ready myself? Now let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. The first time in my life when when I decided to fast for 24 hours
That's it?
from food.
Oh,
A brother has to grow. I was used to at least three square meals a day. And some of them wasn't square; they were triangle and rectangle. But anyway, so anyway, what I did was, and I knew I was gonna be working around food because I was working at a fast food job, and I said I'm going to fast. So what I did was, I committed to doing it, but I readied afterwards so that when 12:01 came, I had all kind of food prepared and ready so that I could tear that stuff up. I'm just saying. So, and I know that's kind of funny, but I want to know, is there a certain preparation that I need to do before, during, or after fasting in order for it to be successful spiritually?
I can say you get, I wouldn't say fleshly naked, but worldly naked.
What?
Go inside.
So I have to get worldly naked.
Worldly naked. Like,
Boy, people gonna be interested in seeing that. Hey, isn't that illegal?
your mind naked. Get it out.
You mean I need to become open to God.
Right.
When you say worldly, you talking about physical in the sense.
Well, you can do that because you got your own place.
But then you say
What happens at
purpose
Dylan's
is
house
all.
stays in Dylan's house. But anyway.
Fleshly and mentally.
I think.
Daniel said he purposed it in his heart.
Yeah, I
He
like
would
that.
not defile himself.
I like that. I like that.
Before he even started fasting.
What you mean by he purposed in his heart? Break that down. I understand it, but break it down just in case.
When you purpose something, you set. I guess you would.
Your level of commitment.
Right. He set everything aside, and he did it not out of obligation or necessity, but
That's
he
good.
did it with sincerity. So when you do it, it's not just to see what it. Oh, I'm gonna fast just to see what it feel like. Oh, I'm
It
gonna
feels
fast
like
to
you're
see-
hungry if you're going out food. No, it's more than that though, isn't it though?
That's what I'm saying. He didn't do it just to see how it feel. He did it for results.
Is there, do you experience, what do you experience? I put it like that. What do you experience while fasting?
Weak points.
Closeness.
What do you experience? What do you experience?
Like, you might have, when fasting, you might have read, say, John 3:16, 11 times. And when you're fasting and praying and you read that, it's like a door open up in your brain where you could understand it clearer. All before you wasn't really understanding it. And then the fasting and the praying.
So God gives you some kind of empowerment during the fast.
Insight.
Yes, because you let them work with you.
It's called
Yeah.
God consciousness.
God,
Because you
ooh,
remember the purpose. You
That's a
remember
nice
the purpose
phrase,
and the
God
motive
consciousness.
behind it. You remember why you're doing this. Because every time you get hungry, you remember. Oh, man.
you become aware.
Right.
Watch this.
You're aware.
You become aware that you are in a spiritual battle.
Yes.
And that's one of the most powerful things that happens to me during the fast is because you become extremely aware that you are in a spiritual battle. Why? Because the devil is feeling some kind of way
Yeah.
about your fasting.
Right. And so, like with my fast.
Yeah, boy, I like that. I
I'm
like
just
that.
finished going to war, you know. And they're like, what you talking about going to war, you know? But like my fasting is called I'm going to war.
Is that what you call it?
I go to war. And I just keep my focus like that. I'm in this war, and, you know, and the Lord is walking with me. And like you said, my mind is open for it. And whatever may come, you know.
Is there a fear in fasting?
Fear in that?
Yeah.
The fear of the Lord, no doubt about it.
Okay, I like that. That's good. I didn't bank for that answer, but okay, that's good. That's good. But is there a fear? Okay, let me come down to a babe in Christ level. My fear in fasting is that I'm gonna falter. I'm gonna slip a donut in. If I'm fasting from television, you know, I may avoid the night that Mary Jane comes over. I'm just saying. I mean, is there a fear of failure in your fasting?
Like the first time I did it, it was because I was like, I think my first fast. Well, I know my first fast didn't work. Whatever I was fasting for, because I was so focused on the outside world still. Oh, how much time I got left or something like that. You know? And
See, it was the first time when I fasted food. Toward the end, I was like, how many more hours I got left? I was like, oh Lord, what time is it? Oh, I said, what time is it? Oh, it's 8:30 a.m. Come on.
I don't believe there's no fear in the fasting. There might be a thing of temptation in the fasting.
But you aren't you? Are you fearful of falling to the temptation? That's the fear I'm talking about.
Come to fast too. You'll get past that as well.
And what if,
On your fasting.
Mr. Moderator, Facilitator, what if I commit to God to fast from food for 24 hours, and what if at 8:30 a.m. when I started at 7 a.m., what if at 8:30 a.m. I say I can't do it and I eat a donut?
well, you wasn't warned. You wasn't fasting.
It wasn't purpose in your heart.
Is God, I want to know, is he going to hit me with a lightning bolt or something, man?
That's like asking if you got to say your grace for every bite of food you take.
I think you wasn't fasting for God, you was fasting for yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
Wait a minute, hold on a second. Y'all make me feel like dirt. Y'all make me feel like dirt.
Okay, I say I'm a fast.
I was fasting. No, what I said, hold on, watch me, hold on. Okay, then let me say this here then. If what y'all telling me is true, there is a danger, listen to me, there is a danger if you are fasting out of curiosity. there is a danger in fasting out of curiosity. Your motivation for fasting needs to be right.
Yeah, you can't be
I
out
have a
there
witness.
playing.
I have a witness on what you just said.
Well, okay, go ahead.
The very first time, okay, I did them, and in 22 years since, I had to do 11 years in the penitentiary. I was in Stateville, I was about like in my 5th year, and a friend of mine, he used to fast all the time, you know? He was fasting, like, to cleanse his body. He had like 200 to 600 years because he had police work. So I said, well, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try fasting. So I fasted, just drinking water. I fasted 3 days. On that third day, I was in my sleep. On my third day, I had a dream, but it wasn't a dream. It was a vision. Now, at this time, I didn't believe in God anymore. I mean, all the things I had did, I didn't believe in God anymore. And on that third day, in my sleep, I had a vision. And I was in my cell. But the thing about it was this vision here, I was in a dark place. I was in a black place. I mean, it was black. I mean, total darkness. It was just black. My eyes was wide open trying to see, but I felt there was something in there with me, but I couldn't see. It was just black, total blackness. And I was looking hard, just to see. There was no light. But then I could just barely see some speckles. Just barely see some speckles. Looking real hard on total blackness. I could barely see some little speckles of white. Barely. And it was jagged edge. Like sharp teeth. And what that told me right there was gnashing the teeth. I woke up, I broke that fast, and I had never told nobody about that about that, all the way until I had something that happened when we had went with the children to the ladies' conference. And this lady started prophesying on me and turned me around where I'm at today. But what happened on that date, I had never told nobody nothing about that because I knew that one day I was going to die.
And you ain't want that blackness.
What that told me was, what it showed me was, like I said, I had stopped believing in God. I didn't even believe in God. This is what happened. I kept this to myself. But what that told me was, there is a hell. It gave me, the good Lord gave me glimpse of hell. That's what that was. And just like you said about fasting, just out of curiosity, I was just doing it. My friend do it all the time.
Because listen to this. Here's the real deal. Here on this. You better be very careful about playing with spiritual things. Well, that'll preach right there. You got to be careful about playing with spiritual things. Because you may unleash some stuff that you ain't ready for.
And this is my witness on this here. That was my first time. Now, I've fasted since then, but put it this way, that was the first and the last time I fasted until we went to the women's conference and I had a lady walk up on me and prophesy and told me all kinds of stuff. I couldn't grasp everything, but that's what I needed. It was like when that woman walked up on me and started talking to me, it was like God was talking to me himself. And that's what I needed to know that I am a child of God. Because all the other times I would be coming to church, I could be sitting in the church, but I felt like I was outside the church wanting to be in. But how could God forgive somebody like me with all the things that I've done? You know? And it wasn't until that day when the woman walked up on me and started prophesying, I'm like, and that was my turnaround. That's what I needed in my spirit.
The Bible says that it is better for us to not make a vow or covenant with God, a vow, than to make a vow and to break it. The dangers of breaking a vow that you have with God is likened unto the results of it says, in fact, that it is better for you to put a millstone around your neck and be thrown into the sea rather than to make a vow with God and break it. Fasting is a covenant. It's a vow. It's a commitment that you have made with God that you're going to do this because you're trying to get him to do that. And for you to renege or to go backwards on something that you have promised God puts you in a peril that we don't know what the end result of we're going to, because God he's not waiting to damn us, but he wants us to be committed to him because he is thoroughly committed to us. And so the reason why he favors and shows favor to fasting is because it's us strengthening our commitment with him. It's us strengthening our commitment with him. Fasting is us strengthening our commitment in our relationship to him. And so he loves that. Loves it, absolutely loves it. And he honors it because his desire is a oneness with us. Not a oneness in the flesh. Because the flesh passes away and it is of no good. But a oneness in the spirit that's eternal.
The breaking of God's vows is broken every day through marriage. When you go to the altar and vow to God, you're never caught. But they get divorced a few years later, that's breaking a vow to God.
That is, if it is in the context, there are exceptions for divorce.
And what are they?
Adultery.
1 Corinthians 7:5.
Very good.
I bet you ain't.
The scripture.
1 Corinthians 7:5.
Well, when you asked that question, Brian looked at you like, and what are you saying, Penny? What are you saying, Penny?
He said adultery. He said adultery.
We ain't going there. Amber, come on, Amber.
So like if you make a vow with God, but you don't know how, you didn't know that it was a vow. Like for instance, you said that you were gonna fast, and you didn't complete it, so you broke the vow. Does God hold it against you for not knowing that you've broken a vow, or how deep?
I want to tell you that there are spiritual and perhaps even material or fleshly consequences for any time you break a commitment or a vow to God, and how severe they are, I don't know. I can't tell you.
But he know you gonna break it before you even do it.
He know you're gonna break it before you make it.
Yeah. He already know that you weak.
So if you're,
You know, so he gonna let you slide.
But don't use that. Don't let that be a scary
Just
thing.
saying.
Don't let that be a scary thing. I don't want you to focus on what happens if I don't
Go through it.
fulfill it. I don't want you to focus on that. That's not where your heart ought to be. Your heart ought to be, you know what? I see how important this is to God, and I don't want to let him down.
You can prepare yourself for the next go around. It's just like a boxer getting knocked down.
But believe you me, you gonna come right back to it eventually.
What you say? You sure? I believe that
you
now.
Come right back to it because he gonna put it back on your heart and you gonna go through it. Might mess up
Because there is something registering in your spirit that says we need this.
It'll stay on you too.
Yeah, it's gonna stay on.
It's gonna ride you for a while. You're gonna be like, oh, girl, y'all know what? For a long time, y'all, I've been dealing with them cigarettes. It took for me to get a sinus problem to get on my knees and cry out to the Lord. Evidently, I must have was playing and didn't really want to stop. But I got on my knees and cried out to the Lord and asked him, God, you just got to take this away. I don't like the way it's making me feel. Man, the next morning, I just knew I was going to be smoking me a cigarette. I even had me one cigarette there just for when I wake up. But I woke up that morning, I looked at this cigarette and threw it away. And look, people, Mr. Beatty and Mary, they might smoke back to back. It don't even bother. Normally when they would smoke, I'd be like, let me get one. I'd be beaming, you know, I can smell it in the air. I gotta have it, but God delivered me from it.
Praise the Lord. I want to say this, and I know our time is expired in that regard, but I do want to say this. In your relationship with God, in mine, and I believe in yours, there are what I call some spiritual irritants. Spiritual irritants that are in between, that are abrasive, scratching, rubbing, irritating, bothering your relationship with God. Spiritual irritants. And you'll never be satisfied. Not if you really love the Lord. You'll never be satisfied with these spiritual irritants. And you can't, on your own willpower and volition, command these spiritual irritants to move. They are so embedded in your flesh and in the part of you that is not crucified that they continue to be abrasive, and they continue, no matter how good you may become in certain areas, how holy you become in certain areas, these spiritual irritants continue to just bother you. And nothing gets rid of these spiritual irritants like fasting and praying. Now, you may not be able to understand this. You know, you may need to be a little more mature in Christ. But it's like it's a botheration. It's a spiritual abrasive. That you know that you have a real relationship with God. That's without question. But these spiritual irritants, you know, are not of God. And you know they are basically designed by the enemy to continue to keep this unity from happening from God. And you can never be satisfied with where you are in your holiness when you know you have these spiritual irritants. They are not large enough to break you out of your ministry. They are not large enough to divert you from your purpose. They are not large enough to cause you to turn back. They're only large enough to keep you mindful that you just ain't quite right.
Is it something that you can jot down on the paper?
It may be something that you can spell out and put down on paper. But sometimes, I'm just going to say that, and this is my personal experience, there's certain times there is I'll give you an example. We had a whole shuttle that blew up and killed everybody on the space shuttle. And after they looked at the video and studied everything, there was nothing wrong with the shuttle.
A seal.
It was a seal, but an O-ring. But the O-ring was not faulty. It was not a faulty O-ring.
Where they put it on.
No, it's not the way that they put it on. All of those things checked out fine. What the problem was the ice on the O-ring.
The what?
The ice. Had they launched the shuttle in the summer, it would not have blown up.
Oh.
But the ice on the O-ring was the irritant that caused the O-ring to malfunction.
So where did this shuttle take off at? Not in Florida where it don't get cold.
But I don't know about it. It was in Florida, I think. But it was cold. It had ice that morning. It gets cold sometimes in Florida, by the way. But the point I'm trying to tell you is that, I'll give you another example. Big tree falls. I've used this before. Big old oak tree just falls and collapses. People wonder why. Oh man, that thing been there for hundreds of years. And they say, well, why did it just fall? Why did it just fall? Then when they look at it closely, examine, it was the termites. So the spiritual irritants are like termites in the spirit that are eating away at the core lining of the relationship. And when a collapse does happen, it is because the spiritual irritant or the spiritual parasite has been there so long. And sometimes spiritually I can feel and sense that there is a nastiness in me. And fasting purges the nastiness.
That's right. Sure does.
I think if you, the more you look at and think about that, the more you pray on that thing and open up yourself on that, I think that's really going to kind of open itself up. I wish I had more time, but I don't tonight to go into it. But if you want, sometimes you fast to purify the irritants. Sometimes you got to change the filter.